just now feeling what they've been feeling for over 100 years. Black farmers, they used to own over 19 million acres of land. Guess what? Systematic racism, denied loans, shady politicians, and legal loopholes wiped them all out. Yeah. And now they're 1% of America's farmland. When the government finally tried to pass relief for the black folk back in 2021, white farmers sued to block it, claimed it was reverse discrimination. Make that make sense. So, you know, next time you see folks complaining about farm aid, why don't you ask them, where's the help from black farmers? Ask them why their struggle was just now important when others have been suffering for centuries.
Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Apparently our entire state is going to go bankrupt in 2 quarters. Me and my husband owned a cattle ranch here, and I can confirm that all of the cattle ranchers here overwhelmingly voted for Trump. We support him. We voted for him. Something like 70% of our entire workforce is undocumented immigrants, and they straight up are not showing up for work anymore. They have all either fled the country, fled the state. They don't want to get raided while at work, so they have just moved on to work somewhere else. And straight up, we are going to go bankrupt now. We are going to go bankrupt, and yeah, we voted. We knew that the immigrants would get deported, and he was coming after immigrants. Yet we still voted for it. Overwhelmingly voted for our own demise. I was talking to my husband last night, and I have to admit that it seems a bit foolish now when you think about it like that we voted for something that is now putting us directly out of business.
Hi, welcome to my channel. So we are looking at American farmers, and the reason why I'm talking about American farmers is literally exactly what happened to them. They say when you vote, you have to be ready for the consequences. So let's see how the consequences that American farmers are facing as a result of the way they voted. So we're going to watch this video, and then we're going to talk about it at the end.
Know that there are 4 things that everybody who's not a Trump supporter thinks about you, and so far you've done nothing to disprove these things. 1, you're uneducated, and I don't mean uneducated in the sense that you didn't go to school and learn to read or do basic arithmetic. I mean you're uneducated as far as what's going on in the world. You got goggles on, only paying attention to what you want to pay attention to. Dose, you lack empathy. You don't care what happens to somebody else as long as it doesn't happen to you. Imagine for a moment the government started saying, hey, your marriage is illegal. How would you feel about that? How would you feel about that? But you don't care that it's happening to gay people as long as it doesn't happen to you. 3, you lack independent thinking skills, meaning you are incapable of forming your own thoughts, opinions, or viewpoints on things. You need pundit talking points from Fox News or whatever that other OAN. You need those people to tell you what to believe. You don't have the ability to look into those claims and maybe think something else. It's confirmation bias. You live in this bubble and you refuse to step outside of it. 4, and I think this is the most important one. I think this is the one you really need to work on if you have the ability, and that is critical thinking. Critical thinking is the ability to look at a situation and say to yourself, you know what, that's kind of fucked up. That's not right, and you can't do that. So I look forward to all the laughing emoji reactions to this video because the people that I just made these claims about don't have the ability to defend themselves. So they do so just with the laughing emoji. So fire away.
It's really interesting how every time I post about the work that Texans are doing and how Texans are fighting against this regime, I always get comments like this. You know, Texans deserve what's happening to them. You voted for this. And by interesting, I actually mean it's stupid. You know, you've got this guy here that's, I bet nobody in there listened to VP Kamala Harris. Not only did I listen to VP Kamala Harris, I was an invited guest in the VP's house multiple times and introduced her before one of her
also voted for Pete Ricketts and Deb Fisher, who aren't doing anything for them. And China announced that they're not going to buy corn and soybeans today, or I think they've done it over the last couple days. I think it was last week, because of the trade war their current president that they voted for decided to wage, a trade war with China. They're not going to buy your goods. And I know that a lot of you have said that you want aid. Well, as a taxpayer who lives in Nebraska who did vote for the right candidate, I don't think I want my tax dollars going to bail you out. I think you actually should sit in your decisions and feel the effects. You want us to. Every time we vote for a Democrat, you say they're horrible. So at this point in time, I'm going to tell you the same thing you say to me back. You wanted to vote for this. Now you get to deal with the consequences. And I don't think I should have to bail you out. Because I work hard for my money too. And my dollars shouldn't bail out your bad decisions. So yeah, today I'm telling you, the farmers here in Nebraska, you need to deal with your own decisions. It's your consequences, not mine, and I don't want to pay for them.
Nebraska, for example, a state where Trump's support was about as rock solid as a Midwest winter. Farmers there voted for him in droves, nodding along as he promised to crack down on immigration. They cheered when he pledged to get American jobs back into American hands. But here's the problem. Those jobs? Yeah, they were never in American hands to begin with. Agriculture runs on immigrant labor, undocumented workers who are the backbone of farms, from planting to harvesting to processing. Now, thanks to Trump's immigration crackdowns, those workers are vanishing. And suddenly, Nebraska farmers are waking up to a nightmare of their own making. Crops are going unharvested. Dairy farms are struggling to find workers. Meatpacking plants, the economic heart of many rural communities, are in crisis mode. The people who once scoffed at the idea that immigrants were essential to their livelihoods are now finding out, in the most painful way possible, that you can't run a farm without farmhands.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is something going on here in America, and even some MAGA Republicans are fed up. So Representative Diana Harshbarger was in East Tennessee yesterday, holding a town hall, and she called Donald Trump's victory a mandate, and the crowd shot that down right away, started booing her. Many of these people, Republicans, ladies and gentlemen, Republicans, very important to note. Then you have Representative Keith Self. He held a town hall in Wiley, Texas, and there were chants of vote him out, and he left the stage. Again, many of his constituents, many of these people, Republicans. And I also found it extremely interesting. Roger Marshall, who's a complete douchebag and a MAGA moron, also held a town hall. And he's a senator in Kansas, and he holds this town hall in Kansas. One of his constituents, a veteran, stands up and says he's worried about veterans losing their jobs. Literally 20 seconds later, he gets up and leaves, and he doesn't even answer the question. And then he's booed. Democrat Congressman Tom Suozzi received a huge standing ovation in a Trump +5 congressional district at Hofstra University after talking about how despicable Donald Trump was, his behavior in the Oval Office with Vladimir Zelensky. Ladies and gentlemen, there's something going on in America. All this stuff happened just over the weekend. People are getting fed up. There is buyer's remorse. We know we have that on the left, but we're getting that more on the right now as people are losing their jobs, people are losing their livelihoods, and they're getting no explanation from the Trump administration, and they're certainly not getting any explanation from the people who are supposed to be working for them that are Republicans, who many of these people voted for. They're getting booed out of these events, and I think it's saying something as to where we are at right now as America. People are...
I've had enough. Yeah, I've had enough of this horse shit. I don't give a shit what kind of law you make. I ain't gonna follow it. I ain't paying my taxes this year. I just don't even care. I'm not gonna be ruled by tyrants. I'm done. No taxes. I'm not following your goddamn laws that you make that are arbitrary and unconstitutional. I just ain't doing it. I've had enough of your bullshit. Washington State, Oregon, California, kiss my ass. I ain't following no more laws. new laws that don't make no sense. Your little snitch line and all your bullshit you got going on, I'm not doing it. I'm not funding your scams and your NGOs and your fucking bullshit, your wars, your thieving. Yeah, thieving. You loudmouth politicians that don't give a fuck about the common person. I'm done. I've had enough. I am no longer going to participate in your horse shit. And I don't give a fuck what you try to take from me. I come into this world with nothing, I'll go out with nothing. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you and fuck off. And on top of that, you best leave me the fuck alone, because you won't like the results if you come out here and try to stomp on my neck. It won't end well. I'm old, and I'm mean as fuck.
Just a funny concept of caring. Nebraska ranchers are so upset. They're going to lose their quote unquote 300-year-old ranches. Let's see, it's 2025. That would be 1725? Were there white people having ranches in Nebraska in 1725? Oh, so you guys are liars too, just like Trump, the guy you voted for. And all your workers got up and left. They didn't wait for us. So, blessings.
So this morning I ended up on Nebraska Talk, and it was a bunch of people crying, why does anybody care about Nebraska? When we voted for Kamala Harris, when I cast my vote for Harris, that was me saying, I care about you, and I want you to survive and thrive. Okay? You knew better than anybody else that your state thrives and survives off of migrants' backs. Okay? And instead of them waiting for ICE to come, they decided to peace out before they could come and get them. I don't know what to tell you guys anymore. This is what you voted for. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, this is exactly what you voted for. And now you're feeling it. What do you want us to do? You want a government handout? That's socialism. You voted against that. No. Sadly, the reality is that you'll probably have to sell a lot of your farms for pennies on the dollar to large corporations and manufacturers. But don't worry, they'll probably let you work there for minimum wage.
Farmers in America, they lost all their workers because they got deported. They voted for Trump. They voted for Trump. And then they lost all the grants because this guy Musk has been, cleaning out. He's taking from the farmers can't pay their bills.
farmers overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump in this past election, and they're about to have an FAFO moment. As background, American farmers export $15.2 billion in soybeans to China every single year. And now, because of Donald Trump's tariffs, these farmers are in big trouble. 8 out of the 10 states that produce the most soybeans that are exported to China voted for Donald Trump. The last time Donald Trump was in office, the agriculture sector lost $27 billion as a result of his previous tariffs. As a result of Donald Trump's previous rounds of tariffs in 2018, China began to seek alternative sources for soybeans outside the United States. Since 2018, China has developed a strong relationship with Brazil, accounting for 73% of all soybean exports from the country. China's purchase of soybeans from Brazil has now skyrocketed this year, and it is expected that they will replace the United States and all the farmers who depend upon those exports in the near future.
As farm workers, with asking Trump to spare their staff and their farm workers from these mass deportations. And nearly 2 million of farm workers don't have status, and they're afraid that there's going to affect the food supply chain. I mean, I'm afraid about that too. Okay, between all the tariffs and the mass deportations, the price of all the food we eat is going to skyrocket. He thought inflation was bad. This is going to be worse. So anyway, it's good to hear that they're banding together, asking Trump to spare, but it's not just them that need to be spared. This is according to a Reuters article just recently. My name's Ruby Powers, your go-to immigration attorney.
I voted for Donald J. Trump in the 2024 presidential election, and I am starting to regret my vote. When I voted for Donald Trump, I was under the impression that we would be getting rid of the undesirable illegal aliens. Now I have no one to work on my farm. What am I supposed to do? Pay them a living wage? This isn't handout city. I'm not giving these people no handouts. And how am I even supposed to do that anyway? I thought the plan was to tax the poors. Okay? I thought we were going to tax the poors. I make $25,000 a year. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them poors. But why did my taxes raise? I thought us good folks were supposed to be getting tax cuts. That was what I thought. Plus, I'm white. Why did my taxes raise, and why do I have no one to work my farm? I do not understand this, and I know that this was not what Donald Trump meant to happen. I know that he doesn't want us good Trump supporter folks suffering, but we are. Donald Trump, please reverse this. I'm a white person. I am not supposed to be suffering. It was supposed to be.
Hey, Nebraska, you need a tissue for your issues? Hey, Nebraska, save the drama for your mama. What happened, Nebraska? Did voting for Trump ruin your economy? Oh, that's weird. That's so weird. It's kind of like we told you so, right? Oh, I love this. I like to stick it in your face and rub it in. It's kind of like, when Trump was telling everybody he was going to come after the undocumented people in this country that were working hard and deport them, that they would kind of move to a state they felt safe in. And apparently, Nebraska wasn't one of them. They packed up their stuff and they headed on out to a state that would welcome them with open arms. So now you're going bankrupt. And as somebody that lives in a blue state, I could give a shit less. Boo-hoo. Oh, and I can't wait for the hated comments. I can't wait for it. You voted for this. You voted for this. And now you're getting it. So why are you mad at us? We didn't vote for this. Nope. We voted completely against this. You voted for this. I better not get one BS comment. Not one. Not one. Oh, how mean you are. The stink. You're so mean. Shut up. Shut up. I'm not mean. I'm just giving you what you wanted. You wanted this. You voted for it. You made your bed. Now
So we have seen the videos, we have looked at the American farmers and they cry and the way they're suffering as a result of the current administration tariff war. Yes, America is at this moment when I'm doing this video, of course, they have made peace with China. They have come up with the agreement with China. But the last 6 months, the last 1 year, we have looked at America when they had this tariff war with China, and we have looked at China, who are the biggest consumer of American soybeans, beef, and they turned their back against American farmers and bought goods from alternative markets. So American farmers for the longest time, they have been suffering and they are crying and telling the government, please come to our aid. So when this current administration came to power, they came as a result of saying they're going to do mass deportations of illegal immigrants. And the biggest percentage of these illegal immigrants who were staying in America illegally were the agriculture farmers. So right now, farmers, they don't have workers. We are looking at farmers suffering. Their produce are rotting in the farm field. Why? Because there are no workers to pick those produce. We are looking at farmers struggling, trying to see how they can get workers to work in the farm. Americans, they don't want to work in the farms. Americans tell you when you work to the farms, you're getting wages that are below the minimum pay. You cannot survive on those wages. So who are the people who used to work in those farms? They are the illegal migrants. Where are the illegal migrants right now? They're not anywhere to be seen. They have run away. They are hiding, or they have been deported back to their original home country. So right now, farmers are crying. They're saying they wish they could turn back the clock, but they can't. Elections have consequences, and these are the consequences. Now, fast forward, you're looking at farmers right now crying and saying they don't have market to sell their produce. Their biggest consumer was China, and China right now, they're not buying from America. Why? Because of the tariff war. The Chinese have turned to alternative market. They have turned to countries like Canada. They've turned to countries like Argentina to look for alternative where they can get soybeans, where they can get beef in huge quantity, and of course the icing on the cake at a lower price as compared to what they used to get in America. So the funny part is farmers right now, they're crying and they're asking the government to help them. So people are asking the farmers, but this is what they voted for. This is what you asked for. And the farmers are saying, no, this is not what we voted for. Yes, we want America to be great again, but this is not what we voted for. We thought we are going to be successful. We thought we are going to be all right when other people are going to suffer. Thinking of other people, that is the other minority, the black community, the ones to suffer. Unfortunately, when it comes to policy in the government, when they say a tariff is going to be put in place, they usually cut across the board. Whether you voted for him or not, it doesn't matter. When he set a policy in a country, it usually affects everybody in the country. It doesn't matter whether you voted for the current administration or not, and that is what people don't understand. And these are the consequences of voting without realizing that you're voting against your best interest. So tell me, when you look at this video, what are your thoughts? What are your views? Do you agree with what the farmers are saying? Exactly, let me know in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe.